Hey everybody, we are back. I'm here to tell you, okay? Like, forget the randomizer for a minute. Let's just have a fun time playing the game known as The Binding of Isaac, Afterbirth Plus. Here's my commitment to you. Zane, look at that. There's your seed, by the way. X11DM9PE. Feel that telltale tickling of the nostril right now, telling me that a sneeze might be due. I don't know, and it's so weird, like, even though, Kate and I are double vaccinated, obviously there are breakthrough cases of COVID that happen, which I bring up not just to, get into that whole can of worms, but just to be like that era of paranoia that really was at its height in, like, April 2020. Where anytime you, like, woke up with a little bit of a sore throat, you're like, that's it. That's COVID, man. And then, like, by lunchtime, your throat was no longer sore, and you're like, maybe I just snored, I guess? I don't know. It's still not quite over. But I've been just sneezing a lot. No other, like, symptoms, really. Just an awful lot of sneezing. I don't know what the heck's going on. The changing of the seasons or something like that. It always has an impact, we went from no rain for almost literally 3 months in Vancouver to now, like, raining 5 times a week. I don't know if that surfaces some sort of, like, a particulate that previously had been laying dormant or something like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. There is a penny back there we should get. That I do know. Doing well, doing very well after that, thank you for asking. It is still a Monday here, but I'm taking the day off for Canadian Thanksgiving. Spend some time with the family a little later, woke up early this morning. Won't believe what I saw. 100 million Squid Game parodies on Twitter, washed up on the shore. I did see, I've seen Squid Game, as everybody else has, I'm sure. I enjoyed it immensely. I thought it was a good show for sure. It also was like my dream kind of show, which is a show that at the end of the day, at times in my life I've styled myself internally as the guy who is into. And I did want this, by the way. Forget that Eddie room for now, unfortunately. Just not quite enough HP, but I've styled myself as the arty guy. I want to watch arty movies. I want to do whatever arty people do. I want to review letterboxed rushes like arty people, etc., etc. But I think I've come to terms with the fact, as I've gotten older, that my actual lot in life, my actual preference, is for movies that have a smart concept and then are, let's call them, easily watchable. Like, a good example, I know he's not my favorite director, okay? And I'm wary of being dunked on, because this is like a very Redditor take, okay? And I say that as somebody who's spent a lot of time on Reddit doing React Court, but it's why I think that Christopher Nolan movies, are always agreeable to me, for the most part. Yeah, I'll take. The concept of the movie in another developer's hands could have been used to make something very meaningful, and honestly, something that probably would have been a little bit more boring. Instead, Christopher Nolan will be like, hey, what if there was the ability to implant memories inside of someone, and then they just used it to, like, do a heist or something like that. That's what I like, is that it's like a cool concept that you could see, like, wow, that would have implications for the world. And then he's like, let's just wrap up like a little, let's make it like Heat. never is like, let's make it like scenes from a marriage, or Jules et Jim or something like that. I appreciate that it's smart movies for dumb people, maybe, or dumb movies for smart people. I don't know. They're not smart movies for smart people, but now I'm not trying to say Squid Game is necessarily there, but because it does have, you know, it has an emotional center for sure. It has, you know, some critiques of modern existence without a doubt. But also at the same time, there's, you know what it is? It's I like stuff that is like 2 levels of watchability. Maybe that's a better way to describe it. The one level of watchability in Squid Game is, you know, oh, it's a critique of, you know, the current state of capitalism, and I think we're gonna roll this. That's what I was looking for, to be honest. And you know, the state of you know, wealth disparity and etc. etc. And the other one is like, ooh, tug of war. Ooh, cool guy. I hope they do well in the game, you know. So I like a show that has, it's got 2. I'm not saying it's got a lot of levels, or that I am appreciating all the levels that it's on. I'm merely suggesting that. Well, you know what it is? I like stuff that I don't get made fun of for watching. So there's your element right there. That's enough for me sometimes. Justice? Why not? Do the DANCE 1 2 3 4 5. Remember that, dude? Whatever happened to Justice? I know it's not a one-hit wonder, right? They had some bops, but like, oh man, the summer of 2007, you could not escape Paper Planes by MIA. You could not escape DANCE by Justice. The Way You Move is a Mystery. You could not escape the insidious. Oh, don't. You could not escape the insidious whistling of Young Folks by Peter, Bjorn, and John. I'm not gonna do it because it's only 9:30 a.m. here. I don't want to irritate wife and baby. But rest assured, I'm not much of a singer. I'm a heck of a whistler. Look at that. Like in my head, I can tell that I can nail the melody pretty well. Grab me, roll me, freeze me, squeeze me. Yeah, I'll take a squeeze. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make that rhetoric pervade every single aspect of my content. I did play some Super Auto Pets over the weekend. I played it on mobile. It works great, you know. It's just a great game. An auto battler, like, here's my, maybe this is, we're going backwards. I think that TFT, for me, because obviously it's immensely successful in and of itself, but for me, TFT walked so that Super Auto Pets could run. By having some knowledge of, and a baseline experience in auto battlers, I was able to jump into Super Auto Pets. I didn't turn up my nose and say, auto battlers, I don't like them, even though I've never played one. You know? Instead, I was like, let's give it a shot. And TFT, the problem that I have had, I guess, with that game, is that, you know, you get locked into a game for an hour, well, maybe like 40 minutes. Sometimes you just know that you stand no shot, right? Like, you know, you go up against another team, they beat you, and their economy is better, and you're like, well, that's really bad. Like, if we were looking at 2 lines on a graph, my line is presently lower, and it's also increasing at a slower rate. That's not a good situation for your overall chances of success. Now, I think that sort of stuff still exists in Super Auto Pets, but because of the fact that you're not going up against the same, you know, lobby over and over, you have some hopium, if you will. And sometimes it is hopium. Sometimes it's not copium. You're not coping with anything because you can actually pull out, you can pivot and change. But also, realizing, by the way, it wouldn't hurt to get a real damage upgrade, huh? But you, at the worst, the high end, you're dealing with like literally 25-minute long runs, and those would largely be runs where you're winning all the time. And if you're losing and you just want to yeet your run, you're not getting, like, you know, punished in lever queue or whatever. So I think there's a lot of stuff to like about that game. Hey, also, plus it's like freaking free, or you can buy a $5 expansion pack. That's pretty sick. Hey, you. I think they've done a great job with Super Auto Pets, man. I know how this sounds, okay? But I don't think it's even a contest right now. Like, it's my game of the year 2021 so far. Now, there's some stuff I haven't played, and there's some stuff coming out, but knowing how mechanics-driven I am as a gamer and as a human, yeah, I'll take. I think there's a chance it could stick up there. I mean, I don't know what to say. Again, I don't like to get bogged down in the minutia. I guess Repentance is my game of the year. People sometimes act like I'm, like, beholden to play it. So I have to say that it's, like, my favorite game of the year, even if it isn't my favorite game of the year. I'm too old for that kind of song and dance, okay? I think, if anything, the relationship might actually work in the other direction, where I like it so much because it's familiar to me because I play so much of it, rather than I pretend to like it so much because I have to play so much of it. But all that notwithstanding, like, Repentance is the most... It was a hot... Okay, let's rephrase. I was gonna say it's a hot injection. It's not really what I meant. And now all I can think of is double and triple entendres. So let's pull ourselves out of this. Okay, well, I mean, when I said pull out, what I meant was to reveal something. Not like an outfit that's revealing, though. Like, this is why I have no respect for the double entendre. Okay, that's what she says. Sounds like my ex-girlfriend, blah blah blah, sort of commentary. You can make the joke about literally. Probably, like, at least 25% of the sentences uttered in human existence, at least in conversation, you can turn it into a "that's what she said" style innuendo. That's why I don't respect it. It's also why I've shied away from the classic joke format of "that would be a great band name," because I really think, and that one was a hard one to let go. But I think I'm happy to be, you know, hopefully close to the tip of the spear on that one. You can do tip of the spear would be a great band name. You know, you can make it about, it's a nothing joke with no point that you can just fill wherever you please, really. Wherever you please, great band name, fill wherever you please. Sounds like my college girlfriend. You know, that's disgusting, and I apologize, okay? But I will try to re-roll that. I was merely saying that to illustrate a point, and the point that I'm illustrating is that I have no respect for that style of joke. If you want to make it, that's fine. I'll politely chuckle. I'm not in the business of... Oh, hold on, I just gotta check something. Okay. I'm not in the business of trying to, you know, ruin anybody's day. Just, you know, you make a joke that I consider that funny. You know, we're in polite conversation. I'm not gonna be like, hey, just so you know, I don't respect that joke that you just made. That makes you the weirdo in that situation, without a doubt. I'm going in, man. Let's go. This is a very, very good run right here. This is a nice palate cleanser, man. I'm not gonna say You Peace anymore. You Peace sounds like great name for a band. Sorry, now I can't stop. The irony, of course, is the more you try not to think about something, the harder it is to avoid that insidious thought. I was thinking about that the other day, because, you know, like, when you are coming up with a name for an account, you know? If you don't want to use the one that you've used before, it's really tough. Like coming up with a username is a very difficult task. I mean, depending on your proclivities, I guess. What I mean by that is, like, to some extent, unless you want to make something identifying, like you love espresso, and you're like, I'm espresso lover, my birthday, you know? If you're just trying to create something that's, like, semi-random, basically you're tasking your brain to, like, hey, think of something you've never thought of before. That's messed up, man. That's a hard task to give to a brain, I think. Hold on, oh, you piece. Did see that we had a spirit heart in there. I think we actually turned a profit. That's a hard task. Do something you've never done before. Or think of something you've never thought of before. How can you think of something you've never thought of? I don't know. Just take it. That's where I'm at here. How can you think of something you've never thought of before? That means I forgot better stuff than you've ever thought of? Is he really that caught up? I'm asking if you're talking about classics. Does my name get brought up? Just hypothetically speaking. Every broken heart. What was it saying? Like at 12 broken hearts, you die? I don't know how it works, but we'll try. Human brain is a funny thing, man. Like I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it, but isn't there, and I'm not trying to make this into like a vision board type thing, but isn't there like an expression in philosophy? It's like what you focus on grows. You know, it's if I ask you not to think of the last time you peed your pants, the first thing your brain's gonna think of is, oh no, I'm 11 years old, I'm at a slumber party, I am so happy to be spending time with my friends, this is like the most enjoyment I've ever had in my entire life, we're on the cusp of like starting to get some independence in our lives, we could even, you guys want to be crazy, we could stay up till 1 a.m. just talking tonight, wow. Then someone says something so funny, maybe they do a really good impression of Eiffel 65. All of a sudden, before you know it, your pajama pants just turned a shade darker. You know, it happens. Yeah, let's do this. Is that a true story? Yeah. I mean, you know, again, like stories from my childhood, how can you be embarrassed, man? Did I have occasional like bladder incontinence because I laughed so hard? I would say a handful of times over the course of being a young so-and-so. I'm over it now. That's why I have to, you know, make rules about what kind of jokes I don't find funny anymore, so I don't laugh too much and pee my freaking shorts, man. I developed a defense mechanism, which is to be the funniest person in the room so that nobody else is ever going to make me pee my pants again. I'm going to make them all pee their pants. Yeah, that's the ticket. But whatever you try not to focus on actively, you focus. It's the same thing like when you're trying to fall asleep, right? If you don't, well, at least some people are freaks, you know, and when they want to fall asleep, they just kind of like close their eyes and go to bed. I don't know how you do it. It's insanity. The gauze, please. I don't know what this is. Algae, I think. I want to take the Soul of Eden with me. That I'm envious of. Okay, I don't know how you do it. But for those of us who I consider to be more normal and occasionally have problems falling asleep, I'm not paying for fanny pack. Are you crazy? I almost walked into it. The best way to fall asleep is to trick yourself into realizing that it's happening. So, for me at least, I listen to audiobooks and podcasts and stuff like that. Stuff with very many of you are probably falling asleep to this video right now, which I understand. Or maybe to Twitch streaming, which is crazy because like every time there's a raid, it hits you with like a 125 decibel advertisement for you know, any number of things, pasta sauces, Charmin, Ultra, toilet paper, etc., etc. I couldn't believe last year when they ran the Charmin Ultra campaign. I was like, the toilet papers, it's sold out everywhere. You're wasting your marketing budget. You should put some money into increasing your, like, industrial output right now. People are going to Costco buying, like, 400 rolls of toilet paper. You don't need to advertise it. It's like advertising oxygen. Regardless. The worst way is, like, if you don't fall asleep, or God forbid, maybe like a car alarm starts going off outside and it wakes you up, then your illusion is popped, right? And now you're thinking about the fact that, oh, I wish I was asleep right now, but I'm not. You get angrier. You go, I wish I was asleep. I should be asleep. Why am I not asleep? I only have like another, if I fall asleep right now, I got 4 hours. Okay, copium, that's okay. 4 hours is okay, but as soon as you start running that math, you're in like a downward spiral. 15 minutes pass, you haven't fallen asleep yet. Oh, I only got 3 hours and 45 minutes. That's basically 3 hours. Might as well spend 45 minutes looking at my phone to just get a hard reset. And then, maybe if I can get 3 hours, it's okay. It's rather to do something than sit here for 45 minutes just getting like more and more annoyed that I haven't fallen asleep yet. All of a sudden, you know, this hasn't happened to me in probably like a decade, but all of a sudden it's, you know, 7:30 a.m. and you're like, the irony for anybody who's gone through this, and I'm sure that's describing many, if not most, is that as soon as it's time to like go to work, your brain is like, ah, finally, I could really go for a sleep right now. I think, I have not gone to an item room here. It happened to me a lot in Korea. Like, my sleep schedule was messed up in Korea because I didn't start work until 1 to 2 p.m. most days, and then I worked till like 10. Some days, you know, on a Friday or Saturday, you would work until 10 and then go out with your coworkers and friends after, and there's no last call. And it's a recipe for just being out way too late, especially in your early 20s. It was, there we go, there's our item room. Like, again, that's most of the problems in my life that I've ever had with sleep have come down to, like, me, and this is, like, hypocritical given what I just said, but have come down to me being, like, you know, well, you know, today I'll wake up at 8, tomorrow I'll wake up at 10, the day after that I'll wake up at 6, the day after that I'll go to bed at 4, the day after that you know, and you get the idea. You just keep going on and on and on like that, and then once a week, I would be like, man, I'm really having a hard time getting to sleep tonight. Oh, must be anxiety. And meanwhile, my brain was probably like, I don't know what time it is, okay? You're supposed to... I evolved on the African savannah to, you know, be hunting and gathering and socializing and problem solving, there was like, when the sun went down, we went to sleep, and, you know, now all of a sudden you're messing with my circadian rhythms with all these blue lights, and then on top of that, your sleep schedule's all messed up, and I'm like, no, these couldn't possibly, oh, it must be like some genetic insomnia. Give me this. And, you know what? I haven't been to the streamer room in a bit. Give me that. That being said, you know, it still happens from time to time, but particularly, like, when I was in Korea, if I'd have, like, you know, because you get to the point you're like, okay, I'm going to bed, I can get, like, 7.5 hours of sleep. That's kind of like my sweet spot. 7.5 hours or something like that. At least right now with the baby, that's considered a very, very good place to be, don't get me wrong. Then, you know, if you start to be like, okay, well, maybe things didn't go as planned, I'm only getting like 6.5, that's still okay if I fall asleep pretty soon. Then you know, check the clock and you're like, oh, 5 hours of sleep time? That's not great. If you get past that, like, God help you, right? Because when you get into that sub 4 hour range, that's where conceptually for me, I start to be like, well, okay, I only have 3 hours and 58 minutes. I might as well just spend 28 minutes trying to put myself in a better headspace to fall asleep, and then all of a sudden, you know, 7:30 a.m. And again, I haven't done an accidental all-nighter like that in a long, long time. But when it has happened, like, particularly when I was in Korea, it's the great irony. As soon as it's time, you're like, you trick yourself, you get like a little shot of adrenaline. Like, this isn't gonna be so bad. I'm young, I can weather the storm of an all-nighter. And then, like, after, as soon as you're, like, on the subway to work, you're like, couldn't sleep in your own bed. As soon as you're surrounded by strangers on a loud vehicle, your brain's like, I'm safe now. time to pass out. Anyway, that's why I say the brain is weird. You have to think. I wonder if, like, insomnia was a bit of an evolutionary advantage back in the day. And I know how that sounds, because it's, you know, sleep is amazing for your health. But I think it's largely amazing for your long-term health. Like, I think it's one of those things where, you know, you can be, like, a deliberately derelict sleeper and be totally fine. But then, like, it compounds over a long enough time scale. I think. That I'm not a doctor, obviously. Excuse me, I stepped on creep. I don't know why I'm saying excuse me. But maybe being awake, you know, an extra 4 hours a night allowed you to accomplish more, or, you know, run hypothetical situations in your head to analyze threats and stuff like that that could come to pass. Have hypothetical arguments with everybody else in your village, so if they step to you the next day, you could be like, yeah, well, the ocean called, they're running out of shrimp. That's a pretty good deal. In my house, in the middle of my street, we like that deal. I got nothing against that either. I don't know, man. It's just one man's opinion. That's my Netflix comedy special. Just one man's opinion. I don't know. Followed by I don't know, man. Yet another series of one man's opinion. Can you believe this? The third in the series of I'm just one man and this is my opinion. Hey Netflix, if you're watching this, give me like $5 million. I know you got it. You're a publicly traded company, okay? I am not suggesting you will get a return on your investment, but just bear with me here, okay? If you give me $5 million and I produce a show for you that is more popular than Squid Game, that's got to be considered a plus, right? All I got to do is make a show that's more popular than the most popular show of the last, like, 5 years. How hard could it be? I think I would, if Netflix gave me an unlimited budget, I think I would just make an Isaac episode. I would invest none of the money into the project. I don't know, man, but I don't know, maybe like an Isaac episode with a twist. You know, maybe like at the end of the first episode could be like an Isaac episode, and then at the end of the first episode, you see like something appear behind me in the webcam, and then people will be like, oh snap, I knew I just sat through that 40 minutes for something, and I'd be like, yeah. But then the next episode, just an Isaac episode. But maybe there's like a weird computer glitch at some point, and people go, oh, the ARG, the ARG. Thank you. This Humbling Bundle's pretty good. Anyway, Netflix, you should not, I don't give you my permission to use this information against me, okay? You don't have the right. What gives you the right? You have your crew get in touch with my crew. Tell your friends to get with my friends. Then we can be friends. That's from Big Papa by Notorious B.I.G. Anyway, sleep's a funny thing. It is like... Of all the things that human beings do, sleep is the one that is the funniest, right? Like, or the strangest. At least of all the things that all human beings do, or all mammals, I guess. Like eating, it makes sense. Energy has to come from somewhere. Pooping, peeing. I apologize for being so crass, but you know, you have matter. The matter has to go somewhere after you suck all the energy out of it, or as much as you can. Blinking, I don't know, it seems to make sense. Your eyes, you know, get dry. They need moisture to function properly. Breathing. I mean, breathing is crazy. Just to the extent, like, it's very similar to eating, but the fact that breathing allows you to get energy out of oxygen molecules is... like, that was one of the things in my biology degree, well, really in high school, I guess, that blew my mind. Where your teacher's like, hey, you know the fact that you have to, like, you know, breathe every, you know, roughly 30 seconds or so, or you'll feel a great amount of discomfort and then die? That's because, you know, the O2 molecules that you take in there, you know, go through a series of metabolic steps that allow you to extract a little bit of extra energy out of the oxygen and thus, you know, maintain your metabolic processes. That's crazy. But it also, you know, it makes sense. Sleeping is the one that's so funny, because it's like, you know, it's not like when you have a car, it has to take a rest, you know? As long as you keep putting gas in it, I mean, maybe if you drive it, I don't know if this is true, but I would think maybe if you drive it with less brakes, maybe it would break down faster, or maybe it's just a product of the mileage and the way that it's being driven and the climate and stuff like that, but... You know, your car is never like, oh, just give me a break here, right? It's like, hey, I'm out of gas. Hey, thanks for the gas. Here we go. But human beings, you know, sometimes you can cheat the system. If you're tired, you can be like, I'm just going to eat a donut, and then that might keep you going for an extra couple of miles. But after that, like, there's no amount of pepperoni pizza that's going to keep you awake. Like, you need the sleep. And the way I understand it is, like, we don't really... know why? Nobody. Well, I say nobody as if like it's a mystery that everybody's trying to solve. Look, we probably should, but I'm gonna be lazy. That's so fun. Like once every 16 hours, you gotta go lay down for a third of the day. That's so weird. And that, like when you really break it down. It's kind of, I mean, I really stand by the idea that it's hilarious. You know, you get grumpy, you snap at your boss. Your boss goes, hey, what's wrong? You go, sorry. I didn't get to lay down as much as my body told me that I needed to. I'm not suggesting it's stupid. Obviously, like, I don't know why I would even pick up teratoma, man. There's a good reason for it. Even if that reason is not... well known, you know, you understand the effects of what happens if you don't get to, you know, get what you're looking for there. But it's kind of humorous, you know, the idea that like, oh, I'm grumpy because I didn't, you know, sorry, I haven't eaten enough energy, so my body's like, you know, uncomfortable right now. That's one thing. You're like, I didn't get to lay down enough. I guess I do have to remember, human beings are not cars. I've used that car analogy a lot. That being said, I think it's because it's comfortable. You know, a car is a machine as you know, human beings are machines in a different way. The digestive system is crazy to me too, man. That you like eat a piece of ham, and then there's like a how it's made episode for poop. There's like a 900-step process. Oh, first, you know, you already have like amylase in your saliva, an enzyme that breaks down some of the sugars and makes them readily accessible to your body for a quick pick-me-up. And then following that, you know, it passes through your esophagus where it gets physically munched a little bit. Then it gets dropped in a pit of incredibly acidic hydrochloric acid, which breaks down the tougher, less caloric aspects of the food. Then it passes through, you know, several hundred meters of coiled intestines that just gradually sort of suck out some of the calories and pass it to the rest of your... Like, that's crazy, dude. Human beings are a trip. Anyway, we actually won an episode for once. What a world. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!